Hey, good morning, everybody. It's about 6:30, well, 3 minutes to 6:30. This is more along the lines of response to um, the Schleg Daddy at OTRSCentral. Now, Jeff, Jeff, you did two videos yesterday. One where you talked about Jericho versus Omega and how you find it interesting and it's something fresh and new. But before that, you also did a video on AJ Styles winning the WWE Championship from Jinder Mahal, and you were wondering why WWE did this. Now, you explained your side of the story. You basically said that they did it for a cheap pop, they did it for this and that, and all valid points that you made, from the cheap pop and maybe the fact that perhaps somebody woke up with something. Basically, it's a lot of what myself and others have talked about when it comes to this sudden title change happening on SmackDown this past Tuesday. But it could be a factor. It could be a factor. It could be many factors, if you will, as to why um, AJ Styles was given the championship. Yeah, Vince had the final say, but did he? You see that you gotta put that into question. Did somebody at least talk him into doing the title change and saying, "Hey, look, ticket sales on doing as well as they're supposed to, and you know, pay per view buys for the event are not doing so well, and there's word going around viewership and subscription counts may go down as well." So a lot of factors could have played into it. You know, the fact that Jinder could be hurt because he was seen wearing that tape, that uh, whatever it's called, that Kinko tape or whatever it's called, that medical tape that the athletes wear, so they can the athletes wear on their shoulders or wherever that's hurting, so they can keep playing and delay the inevitable surgery or rest. Um, Kiko's tape or something, whatever it's called. It could be a factor of that. It could be a factor that maybe he got popped and he's going to have to be off the road for a while in sort of a semi suspension, stuff like that. We don't know. It could be the fact that, like you said, the viewership on the Halloween edition of SmackDown was down. So WWE felt that, hey, maybe the best way to get it back up is to do a WWE Championship match and at the same time do a title change in said match, and that's going to get people talking. That's going to keep people. That's going to get people to tune in. You brought up the fact that they spoiled the title change on their own website, and that is true. They did. They did kind of spoil the title change on the website. Okay, I'm just checking something there. But you're right. They did spoil the title change on their own website. But and but they did it basically, I think, for the reason you pointed out. The fact that they did it because they knew if they announced, hey, this is going to happen, people would tune in, and that's what they did. True, the viewership went up, but as you pointed out, it wasn't that much different than when Jinder was champion. So, it could have been the fact that they wanted to get the viewership back up, maybe just a bit more than what they had, the week, maybe a bit more than what they had 2 weeks ago when Jinder was champion or when he was champion during that time. And also maybe because they wanted to get it up because of, it being down during Halloween. And you think WWE would, honestly, Jeff, you think they would realize that by now that um, when they do these episodes during the holidays, either the major holiday like Christmas, like I don't like they're going to plan to do, and I don't know why, and New Year's, as well as holidays like Halloween, that may not be as major. They got to realize viewership's going to be down because, like with Halloween, you're going to have families out and about with their kids going trick or treating. You're going to have, you know, people my age, your age, younger, older, going out and attending Halloween parties. They got to take these all into moments, uh, things, all these things that people do in they basically got to take um, all these things that people do during these holiday seasons. They got to take those those into well, not into question, but into account. They need to take the fact that, oh, parents were out with the kids going trick or treating, or they were out at Halloween parties. Like with Christmas, they're going to be like, oh, well, they're going to be with families during Christmas and New Year's. They got to take all these into and they got to realize that just because the ratings dropped at Halloween, it's not, it's a fact. It's not the fault. It's not the fact. It's not the people tuning in that's at fault. It's the fact that they were broadcasting on a holiday. In a holiday where, like I said, people are out with their kids doing trick or treating. The same thing's going to happen with Christmas. People are not going to tune in. You think viewership is down? You think WWE thinks viewership was down with Halloween? It's going to be even worse with Christmas and New Year, and they just don't get it. They just they just don't see the mistake they are making. But you know, like you said, that could have been one of the main reasons, if not one of the main reasons, they did the championship match on such short notice and why they did the title change. But the one thing I brought up, Jeff, in the two videos where I talked about this, um, I talked about the fact that it could be, like I say, a number of reasons. Many that I've already mentioned, many that others have mentioned. Basically, the same reasons. Jinder could be hurt. They don't want him to go in hurt against someone like Brock Lesnar. He might have been popped, and maybe they'll give him a semi noticeable punishment or suspension. Um, maybe it was because of pay-per-view buys for the event were not doing good. Ticket sales were not doing good. Rumor of viewership and network cancellation by subscribers, all all rolled together, may have accounted for Vince agreeing to make the change, agreeing to let the change happen, and thus give us AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar. But another reason, Jeff, is crazy easy as this sounds, and you didn't bring this up, and I will, and I brought it up in my other videos as well. One of the reasons I think they did it is because they saw the positive reaction that Finn Balor versus AJ Styles got on the short notice that that match had. You know, yeah, it was unfortunate. Whether you like the idea that they were going to have this match between Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor, yeah, it's unfortunate Bray got sick and had to be pulled. Whether you like the guy, you like the character, or you don't. Oh, the light at the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of that tunnel, the silver lining, if you will, is we got AJ versus Finn Balor. We got the battle of the former Bullet Club leaders. So, and even though it was on short notice, I want you to kind of take notice at how fans reacted to it. How fans went and bought the pay-per-view probably just for that match and then sat through the rest. How people tuned into the network just for that match and then just didn't watch the rest. Or how people bought tickets to go attend the event live just for that one match. See, we can criticize WWE for the crap they give us and all the BS they give us and stuff like that and all the stupid booking decisions they make and all and not doing things the way they should be done and correcting themselves and all that. We may criticize them injusticely and justifiably so, but we cannot take away from the fact that they're still smart. They realize, hey, we need some. We can't take away the fact that despite all that and justifiably the criticism thrown at WWE for what they do is justified and is in the right. We cannot deny that they aren't smart. We cannot deny the fact that they basically know that, hey, they need an attraction. They need somebody they need something that's going to get people's eyes on the product besides, you know, a Shield reunion or a out of nowhere Kurt Angle return to the ring as part of the Shield. We need something that's different. We need something that's going to get people's eyes on the product. And I guarantee you, it was not Vince. I guarantee you, it was not Vince or Kevin Dunn or anything. It had to be Triple H. It had to be Triple H. It had to be Stephanie. It had to be Shane. It had to be somebody that got in Vince's ears and said, "Hey, look, you want to get people's eyes on TLC. You want to, Finn is scheduled to have a match, but he can't have the match that he's originally supposed to have. But you're still but you still want to hype up the match he was supposed to have as a big deal. Here's an idea. Let's borrow AJ Styles from SmackDown, put him against Finn Balor, have a battle of the Bullet Club leaders, or something like that." Somebody had to get in Vince's ear and him that, convince him of that. And I'm pretty sure it was not Kevin Dunn. It was not Kevin. I guarantee you, whoever convinced Vince McMahon to say, "Okay, get AJ over here," was not Kevin Dunn or anybody else that's sort of the right hand man or left hand man of Vince McMahon. It had to be someone like a Triple maybe a Ryan Ward. Who knows? It had to be somebody. But I know it was not Kevin Dunn. But anyway, the point is, they saw the reaction they got there, the positive reaction, and the crowd reaction. And true, that's one thing WWE is at fault about. That they're now relying more on getting a reaction than focusing on telling a story and building up new stars through said stories. So I so yeah, I totally agree that WWE is at fault of that. But sometimes when they decide to go and get that initial reaction, sometimes it's a good idea because they realize, hey, this is going to get people's attention. They realize that if they do something that fans don't expect, like AJ Styles against Finn Balor at TLC, it's going to get people reacting. It's going to get people reacting so much to the fact that they're going to want to tune in and see that match, or they're going to want to buy a ticket and see that match. So that's one of the reasons I think, Jeff, that WWE decided to do AJ, decided to put the belt on AJ, not just because of a ratings pop, not just because they wanted to get a reaction from the crowd or from the fans that would tune in when they leaked it online or they spoiled it on their own website. It wasn't all because of that. That Well, it wasn't all because of that. Well, yeah, it was. Well, honestly, well, yeah, actually it was, but still, it was the reaction that they knew they were going to get when they realized that because of this title change, we were now going to get AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar. And that's the reaction they want because once word got out that, hey, that match was going to happen, the reaction and realization that, oh my God, this match is going to happen at Survivor Series, people started probably started ordering the pay-per-view from the cable company or the satellite company or Dish Network or DirecTV or whatever. Or they probably started to start the free subscription to WWE Network just for this match. Or maybe they're starting to go out to the Toyota Center or whatever box offices there are around the Houston area and buying tickets for Survivor Series just for that match. So reactionary, doing it for a reaction reason and the aftermath of said reaction, maybe that's why they did it and not just for a ratings pop or anything, and that might be all true. I know I sound like I'm fumbling over my words and I'm kind of rambling, Jeff, so I do apologize, but the point is I get what you're talking about when it comes to why they did why they did the title change. They did it for reactional reasons. But if you go back, like I said, when they announced AJ and Finn Balor as a last minute replacement for Bray and Finn, there you go. There's an example right there. But another reason, as crazy as this may sound, but I think it's the most logical reason, besides getting a reaction and all that from the announcement that now we're going to get AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar instead of Jinder Mahal, Brock Lesnar. One of the other main reasons is this is WWE's answer to Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega. Now, true, Jericho obviously got the blessing and got the okay from Vince and others in WWE to go ahead and do this, even though he's not contractually under, even though he's not contractually obligated to WWE. You know, obviously he still wanted to get the blessings to go out and do this, so that when he does come back, possibly for Mania, there won't be any hard feelings. But despite getting the blessings of Vince McMahon and maybe Triple H and Stephanie and all that, you can't tell me that Vince McMahon ain't telling himself that, well, okay, you can't tell me that the people that work alongside Vince, the people that are part of his inner circle, his group, like let's say Triple H and Stephanie and all them, you know, you can't tell me that as much as they gave Chris the blessing to go and do this match, even though he's not contractually obligated to them right now, you can't tell me that they're not going to let themselves get outshined by one of their own. You can't tell me that despite wishing Jericho all the best of luck in this match with Omega, you know, at Wrestle Kingdom in January, you can't tell me that they're not going to allow themselves to be embarrassed, because they aren't. I mean, think about the timing. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree, and Jeff, you would probably agree, and Alex, the Lex Man, you would probably agree. Chase, maybe. Everybody watching live or post-live would agree that there's no doubt Vince was probably planning on having Mahal retain the belt this past Tuesday to give him that signature win to make him look strong, make him look like a strong and credible challenger or opponent for Brock Lesnar. So you can't tell me that this sudden title change wasn't just because they wanted to get a reactional reason or for anything else that I mentioned earlier, but it was also done as response to New Japan making this match happen between Jericho and Omega. And you know what? I think Chris Jericho probably knew something like this was going to happen. I'm pretty sure Jericho was sitting in his tour bus or sitting in his hotel or sitting at home looking online and then looking online, probably at WWE.com, seeing that Styles has won the championship and now he's going to face Brock. You can't tell me Jericho probably didn't have a sly smile on his face going like, those sneaky bastards. You can't tell me he didn't have the sly Jericho smile on his face going like, you know, sneaky bastards. Because he probably did. He probably did. Maybe he thought that too. Like, hey, WWE, he's probably thinking, man, he's probably thinking to himself, man, Vince, Hunter, Steph, you sneaky you sneaky SOBs. You just can't let, somebody else, you top you at anything. You can't just let somebody else or another promotion outshine you. I'm not saying that he probably didn't totally think that, but in my opinion, he probably overall had that sly smile and reaction in his thought process that he knew he knew or had a feeling WWE was going to do something in response, and that's what they did. I mean, come on, let's be honest. They can give someone the blessing to go and do a certain dream matchup for another promotion one night only or one event only, whatever, and then that's it. But you can't tell me they're not going to allow said dream match to outshine them. So that's why I totally believe, in my honest opinion, that Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, when it was announced for Wrestle Kingdom in January, I think, in my honest opinion, when that was announced, that's when WWE decided that they were going to do the title switch on SmackDown and put the belt on AJ, and thus, in response to Jericho and Omega being the dream match that fans want to see, and are going to see at Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP US Heavyweight title, that once that was announced, WWE, mostly Vince, Triple H, and Stephanie, decided, okay, you guys can have that dream match, no problem. We're going to do a dream match we're going to do a dream match fans want to see a lot sooner than that at Survivor Series with a battle of two of the former IWGP champions in AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar. So honestly, Jeff, that's pretty much, I think, one of the main reasons they did the title change. Not just because they wanted to get a reaction and a ratings pop, and they wanted to get a similar reaction to what happened when it was announced that Finn Balor would take on AJ instead of Bray, but also the fact that they wanted to do it as retaliation and as in response to Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. Because you can't tell me, and I know if Chris Jericho ends up watching this, and Kenny Omega ends up watching this, you can't tell me, they can't tell me that WWE is not above trying to outshine the competition that's trying to outshine them, or trying to outdo the competition that's trying to outdo them, because they're going to. And by having AJ, by booking AJ to become champion and booking him to face now Brock Lesnar in a champion versus champion match at Survivor Series, you can't tell me that WWE didn't do this, not just because of the reactions they wanted to get from fans and all that, because of the fact that now they're going to get this match instead of Mahal Lesnar, but because of the fact that when Wrestle Kingdom announced Jericho and Omega for the IWGP US title, you can't tell me that WWE and those in the upper echelon of WWE didn't go like, we're not going to let Wrestle Kingdom, we're not going to let New Japan, we're not even going to let Chris Jericho outshine us. We're going to outdo them. We're going to outshine them, and we're going to do it a lot sooner. So again, you can't tell me with a shadow of a doubt, you can't tell me that WWE didn't make didn't decide at the last minute or the last second or the last minute, figuratively, to do a title change and put the belt on Styles, not just because maybe Mahal's injured, maybe he got popped, maybe because ticket sales were not doing well, pay-per-view buys were not doing so well. The network subscription might be going down, and viewership might be going down on the network. You can't tell me it wasn't all those kind of factors, either, because it probably was. But combined all together, I think but if you combine all that together, yeah, those are probably one of the main factors, some of the main factors. But I think when you step back and you look at the real reason from a business standpoint, from a competitive business standpoint, then yeah, WWE pretty much did this in response to Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and Wrestle Kingdom. I think we all know that. I think all of us sitting at home in front of our cameras, doing videos, live feeds, whatever, doing reports, you name it. I think we all know that. I think we all know that the reason WWE did the title change and probably figuratively did it at the last minute for AJ to go for Jinder was because of the fact that they did it in response to New Japan booking the match between Jericho and Omega for Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP US title. WWE decided that in response, as much as they gave Jericho the blessing to do this, they decided that they were going to outmaneuver New Japan. They were going to take all the trending, all the spotlight away from New Japan, away from Jericho and Omega, away from Wrestle Kingdom, and put it back on them by making this match between AJ and Brock at Survivor Series. You can't tell me there was no other reason besides that, and maybe the ratings pop and the other factors we mentioned. But you can't tell me that one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, was because of that. You can't tell me that. From a business perspective, I mean, Jeff, Schlag Daddy, let me ask you this. You always like to talk and use business. You always like to use competition between jobs, different retailers and jobs and all that, what have you. You can't tell me that from a business standpoint, if you knew your competitor was going to put on this match or put on this program, that you weren't thinking, you know what, I don't want them to outshine me. Yeah, that might be a month or two away, but I'm not going to let them outshine me. I'm going to put on something just as good, if not better. right now or within the next week or so. You can't tell me businesses wouldn't do that in real life, because they would. The point is, when you get down to it, a lot of factors played into the title change happening. We can all guess at what those factors could be. But I think at the end of the day, the two major ones on top, well, was the one that Jeff pointed out in his video, the reaction and the ratings pop. But secondly, the other one being the fact that WWE did this because they saw what New Japan was doing with Jericho and Omega. You can come out here and respond and tell me I'm wrong on it. It doesn't make sense that they would do that. Well, guess what? It would make sense for WWE to do that. It's like with any business, you know, you gonna let your competitor outshine you at doing something? No, no, you're not. I mean, think about it this way. You know, you have the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade coming up. Every year, people tune in and watch that. You can't tell me that all the other Thanksgiving Day parades that happen around that same time in different parts of the country don't try to outmaneuver or don't try to outshine Macy's as much as they can, even if their parade might be shorter route wise and time wise. You can't tell me they don't want to try to outbeat. They don't want to try to beat Macy's at their own game. They do. So the point is, when you get down to it, this decision to put AJ to make it to go from Jinder Mahal versus Brock to AJ versus Brock was based around the main fact, I believe, it was WWE's retaliation, besides all the other factors that we've talked about, that we've all mentioned in all separate videos and discussions and all that. That the main factor, when you get down to it, that the reason AJ and Brock was made, the reason the title change happened, besides all the factors that we've talked about, from the injuries, the possible being popped for drugs, the sales on tickets and pay-per-view buys not doing so well, viewership on the network and subscriptions being canceled for the network, possibly, looming above their head. You can't tell me that besides all that combined together, the two reasons that I've mentioned and Jeff Siegel, the Schleg Daddy at OTRSCentral, has mentioned, isn't two of the true main factors. And those main factors are the reaction, the ratings pop they wanted to get back for SmackDown, the ratings increase they wanted to get back for it, and the reaction that they wanted to get similar to what they got with AJ going up against Finn at TLC, but also the fact that they wanted to do some kind of retaliation to Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan, making the announcement of Jericho versus Omega for the IWGP US title. You can't tell me that's not one of the main reasons, if not the main reason, they did the title change on SmackDown. I think anybody watching knows that. So, but so in actuality, Jeff, I support OTRSCentral. I'm a big fan. I've been following you guys for years. Even when you had B-Rad on there, and I'm wondering if you ever have him back down the line. And I respect your opinions. I respect what you've had to say. I respect, your opinions and how you feel certain things should be. How, I respect who you like, and I respect your opinions on who you like and you don't like. So I respect all that. I truly do. I truly do, Jeff. But when you think about it, in my opinion, I think one of the main reasons, one of the, if not the main reason, in my opinion, not just what you mentioned, the ratings and reactions and all that, basically the same stuff I've said, because I feel one of the main reasons was to get a reaction similar to what they got with Finn Balor going up against AJ Styles at TLC. But Jeff, I don't think you can deny the fact that one of the main reasons, even in this day and age, that this match happened, that this title change occurred, and now we're getting AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar because of it, was because WWE wanted to throw retaliation at New Japan Pro Wrestling by saying, hey, you want to put this dream match up against Jericho and Omega, even though we've given Jericho a blessing to do it? Fine, no problem. But guess what? We're going to do a dream matchup. We're going to do a dream matchup as well, but a lot sooner at our event called Survivor Series, and oh, it's going to be between two of your former IWGP champions who are currently our two top champions in Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles. You can't tell me that they didn't do that for that main one. You can't tell me the title change didn't happen because of that main, not just because of that main reason. You can't tell me it was other reasons. It was that main reason, along with the reasons Jeff brought up and other people have brought up. So in the end of it, when you get down to it, honestly, Jeff, to answer your question, why did WWE do this? There's your answer. They did it because, like you said, for reaction, to get the same reaction they probably got with AJ Styles going up against Finn Balor at TLC, but they also did it because it was their response, their answer to New Japan booking Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega for the IWGP US title, even though Jericho, according to sources, got his blessing from Vince McMahon and WWE to do this. WWE ain't above trying to outshine someone they even gave the blessing to do this. So, but really, Jeff, Slag Daddy, that's basically why this happened. From what you've talked about and others have talked about, but mainly because of the fact it's the retaliation and an answer by WWE to New Japan for making Jericho and Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. That's why they did it, and that's all I'm going to say on it. So let me know what you think down below, guys. Respond. OTRS Jeff Siegel, OTRSCentral. I'd like to hear from you, your thoughts on it. The Lex Man, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Anybody else watching live or post live after it's been uploaded, let me know what you guys all think down below. Comment if you like. Do you agree with my assumption? One of my main reasons this match happened, this title change happened, and now we're getting AJ and Brock. Do you think it is because of WWE retaliating towards New Japan? Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Video responses are greatly appreciated. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you all for watching live. Peace out.